Do you know how excited and just drained I am? Hi guys, I'm Katie and welcome to my channel. Oh my goodness. So, literally, I'm not even kidding, I have been devouring this book. Just like, oh my god, this book, Origins, Dan Brown, love it, learn it, read it. Like, I so wanted to do a review on this for like my next video, and it was getting closer and closer to Saturday, which is today, because I film on the day that I'm going to upload, or sometimes it's like the day before. I should be more organised. And it was getting closer and closer, and I was like, I don't think I'm going to finish this book, and I was thinking, maybe I should do a book tag and get in, like, again and instead. So thank you if you responded on my Instagram about what book tags I should do. I will keep a note of those and save them for later, but I was just so determined. I didn't want this book review to have to wait until after next week, because next week would be my August roundup, and I just didn't want it to wait. So as you can tell, I'm kinda amped up about this book, and yeah, I have just wanted to like scream about this book. The more I've been reading it, the more just excitable I've been getting, the more I've been getting, the more I've been wanting to slam this book on the table at work. Yesterday I was like screaming and Mum was like, you okay? And I was like, fine. So the reason why I get so ridiculously excited about these books, for me, Dan Brown is like an anticipated read, because his Robert Landon books literally come out like once, what, a year, every 2 years? So for me, this is like such a guilty pleasure read, because it's really the opposite of what I read. You know, I read a lot of fantasy, sci-fi, all that. This is like historical fiction with a bit of conspiracy. This is why I love conspiracy. In real life, I'm so not fussed about it, but in a book or a TV show, you're just like screaming your head off, which is what's been happening to me. For me, it's just such like an excitable thing, because I love history. I just love all the, like, codes and symbols. I love all of that, and it so appeals to me, and science. I'm very nerdy, so it was just like so exciting. This book is really quite different from the other books. I think I'm going to do a spoiler-free review of this. I don't know what, I feel like something will fall out my mouth, so I don't know. In previous books, it has been very much following codes and symbols, almost like a trail of things, like a trail of breadcrumbs, whereas this book has been really different. I guessed a lot of things, and I guessed the end, which has left me hugely, and I thought like Inferno left me really quite conflicted. This has left me even more conflicted because of my increasing fear of AI. So this book has made me slightly more worried than it should. This is very different. So basically, oh my god, let's go to the start, shall we? Robert, aka Tom Hanks, is invited. Also, the really great thing about this is that this book is set in Barcelona, and I've been to Barcelona, and I've been to the places he's been to. Do you know how exciting that is for me? Robert is invited very literally last minute to come to Barcelona, to come to Bilbao Museum, where they are going to be holding this really grand unveiling of like basically the origins of the species. Who are we and where are we going are the main things, and it's by his friend Edmund Kirsch, who was his student. It starts with Edmund visiting 3 prominent members of like the religion parliament. So you've got an imam, a Jewish one, which is a rabbi. It sounds like an awful joke. An imam, a rabbi, and a bishop walking to a bar. And he basically shows him his big earth-shattering discovery, and it's like takes place after that, and then like the whole lead up to it happening. It was very obvious. This is like, I'm promising you now, this is not going to be a spoiler. It was very obvious to me that Kirsch was going to die. It was not, like, that's not a spoiler, because just reading the blurb, it's kind of obvious, which I shall read to you now. Harvard professor Robert Landing arrives at the Guggenheim Museum to attend the unveiling of an astonishing scientific breakthrough. The evening's host is billionaire Edmund Kirsch, a futurist whose dazzling high-tech innovations and audacious predictions have made him a controversial global figure. Think of Nostradamus, but of the present. And if you don't know who Nostradamus is, oh, go to Wikipedia. But before his secret can be revealed, the meticulously orchestrated evening is blown apart. Death is what that told me. So I mean, with his life under threat, of course, Landing is forced to flee, aided by the museum's director Amber Vidal, because of course it isn't a Langdon book unless he's with a lady. If they are to beat the devious enemy to Kirsch's discovery, Langdon Vidal must follow a perilous trail of signposts and enigmatic symbols, hidden history and exclusive modern art. At its end, they will come face to face with a breathtaking truth that has remained buried until now. I realised I read that blurb so weirdly. I don't like reading out loud is why. I would like to say that this is less breadcrumb trail like treasure map than the other books, because basically the sole goal of this is that after Edmund is killed, after Edmund is killed, basically they want to show the world his presentation. Like, this was like going out live to everyone, not just the people in the museum. So really, it's only, they just have to find his password. They just have to find, it's so easy. They just have to find his password, which is like a launch sequence, which will basically allow the presentation to be shown. And it's like his favourite line of poetry. So they're just looking for this 47 word long like piece of poetry. I say this like it's so easy. The reason why I say that is because this makes it seem like it's like the other books where, you know, he's following lots of hidden things. It really kind of isn't. It's them just like having to get from what, it reminds me of the first one, not the first one, the second one, I'm thinking of the first film. It reminds me of the Da Vinci Code, where it's kind of them on the run, but obviously like looking for clues and trying to find specific things. This is kind of what it is. They are on the run from the Spanish police, from the Spanish Royal Guard, from the palace, from crazy people, assassins, to find this code to launch it. So what I love about these books the most is that, like I said, crazy history buff, science, love it. Crazy history buff? No, I'm not a buff, I love history. What I love about these is that without these books, there is so much stuff that I would never, like, I never knew, not really, that Spain was like, not crazy Catholic, but they were like really Catholic. I think I still knew they had a royal family, but it's just stuff about their history and the fact of like the crazy Franco guy who went a bit Hitlerish. It's stuff like that I would never have learned if I hadn't have read these books, and that's why I love them. The problem with these books is that I spend most of my time, I swear to God, Googling the architecture, the architecture, everything in it, because I want to know what these things look like, and it's just really stupid, but I just want to know, which makes these things very sidetracky. So Edmund's big discovery, I mean, it's in a weird way, it's kind of predictable because it makes sense. It really shouldn't be a shock. It is more the issue of knowing what our future could potentially be, obviously how does religion kind of play in a part of this, because he kind of basically just wants to get rid of religion. And it is one of these books, like Inferno, it very much makes you think about your viewpoint on, you know, things with religion and if it's right, if it's not, you know, that sort of thing. And it's the same with Inferno. We are rapidly expanding, and it is the whole idea of, do we put a stop to our species because there is no way the planet can sustain us? It's that kind of thing. And in Inferno, the film was different, which really hacked me off. The weird gross gelatin bag did disperse, and so much of the population is actually infertile. So if you haven't read the book but you saw the film, that's the real ending, although not referenced in this book. So in this case, it is the whole debate of science and religion and that kind of thing. And it does make you sit and wonder. I mean, I'm not like religious in any form of way, but I have no issue with religion. If you have your views, like, that is fine. And for people who are just like, you know, I have my faith, it makes me happy, it gives me a reason to get up, like I do good things, like, that's not a bad thing. I think being religious is not a bad thing, like, in the slightest. It's how you interpret your religion, because at the end of the day, God is only going to want us to do good things. Say all these gods, like, all exist, like, every single one of them. I have this weird view that, bit like the UN, they're all sat around a big table, and there's God, and he's like turning to Anna like, mate, like, I got nothing. I can't imagine that. Either that, or they're all sat there going, yes, let's piss each other off. Like, do you know what I mean? I mean, like, it's either going to be the kind of like the weird Greeks of like gods where they're just like pitting humans against each other, not quite, but, or I just don't think that that's what they would want for us. What is really nice is that in this book you have not the controversial, but, you know, it does begin with C. Conservative. You have your very conservative views where, you know, that's it, like, religion is religion, Bible is fact, that's it. And then you have some others who pop up who are very much like, the two can be combined. You know, why would God give us like this intelligence and this viewpoint for us not to use it and to blindly ignore what science can do for us? Because, you know, when you think about it logically, okay, like, say religion is totally real, like, just say if, I don't know. How do you, like, people who denounce science, how do you not know that's just God's way of nature and us as a species progressing? It's like the things with like medicine and stuff. Maybe that's God's way of helping us stay alive and not just letting us die. Just throwing it out there. But yeah, let's not get too deep on the religion. But yeah, this is what I like, is that all the conflicting views and how it kind of, it's like such a great book that can set you up for such a great debate, which could go south very, very quickly, like politics. Like the rest of his books, this is very set in a very short and compact time frame. This book is literally set over hours. It's not even like a day. Like with all the other books, you've got so many different point of views. You've got Landon's, you've got Vidal, you've got the princes, you've got the bishop who works with the prince, you've got the head of police, you've like so many different point of views. I absolutely love it because all know certain bits of information, all people know other bits of information. Some people are getting like the wrong end, like how it's all interpreted, and obviously there are parts when you know information that other characters don't, and then they know information that you don't, and you're thinking, oh, well if it's this, maybe, like this is what I love about these books, is trying to connect the dots, trying to think, would it really be that person who sent the assassin, because that just seems too obvious, but then it would make sense. It's that sort of thing that I love about these books. It just keeps you guessing like the whole time. I think the fact that this book actually is slightly different from the others made it such as enjoyable, because it was a much more, not like modern feel, but obviously the previous books have been like, you've got like the Masons and the whole thing like Dante's Inferno and Angel's Demons and the Da Vinci Code. That's very much it's all classical art, which is all Robert's forte, whereas this is all modern, because you know Edmund is a futurist. He's very, you know, technical, he's savvy, he is, you know, a big not up and coming, I mean he is upped and he has come in the world that he lives in. So it's kind of nice seeing that difference, and actually things like decoding and symbols weren't actually the forefront of this, whereas that's what it's always been in the books. You still have Robert kind of, you know, mentioning like in his internal monologues things about symbols and stuff, which is great, which I still really like, because you know that is who he is. But just all the history and all just the science stuff I just really absolutely loved, because that is my jam. Oh, I love it. This is what I mean by it. It's like this is like my guilty pleasure read. I love this book. I just I've been trying to think about the rating for this, and I don't know. I feel like I can like settle on like a hard 4.5, but I feel like it's just 5 stars for this, like this reason. This video alone is why this book is 5 stars for me, because of the excitement and the enjoyment I get. Like if a book can physically make me want to start screaming, I mean I was sat there on my lunch break like I just wanted to slam the book on the table because I was getting so caught up in it. If a book does that for me, you've got a star, mate. Like you are on a roll. Like I would be on my lunch break and I'm like, has it really been an hour? Can I not stay extra? I mean, if any of you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen some of my reactions whilst reading this have just been like, I kind of didn't go too spoilery, so I think I did well. So if you do comment, don't go spoilery. If you want to talk spoilers, and in general, I need someone to talk to about this book. I should text my dad and see if he's read it yet. If you want to talk to me about this book, then please like message me on my message me on my Bookstagram or message me on YouTube. I feel like that function still exists. I don't really know, but I just want to talk to someone about this because I have no one to talk to about this. And I don't think my dad will get as excited as I will about this. Exhale, calm, breathe. You've got it out your system. Yeah, I feel better. Thank you if you joined me for this just explosion of words, really. I don't know what happened. I think I just had an out-of-body experience. It's been like pent up inside me, I think, because I'm obviously trying not to scream on my lunch breaks. I'm just like, I nearly cried. Can I just say, this book like got me, like I had like a little like teary moment. I think I'm just like special. I probably need a good cry, maybe that's why I got a little bit upset for literally no apparent reason other than the fact there's something clearly wrong with me. I feel good. I got it out. I've exploded my excitement of this book. So I'm done now. I'm going to go do a few quick bits around the house because I'm going to my friends for a curry. I'm so excited. Food. As you can tell, food is my sole motivation in life. If it's not a book, it's definitely food. If you like this video and you thought it was just all kinds of weird and crazy and what the actual hell just happened, give me a thumbs up. That would be amazing. If you're new, hi, don't get frightened. Come back, come stay, watch some more. My other videos are far more, well, I mean, they're like this, but not like I'm on like crack or something. But if you liked it and you want to stick around, then make sure you hit that big old red subscribe family and come back and view more of, well, view more of this. Until next time, guys, I hope you have a fab weekend. I'm gonna go lie down.